what if I don't have like this crazy number of downloads? So is it possible for people to land some good sponsorship packages, even if they don't have thousands and thousands of downloads every month?
I am so happy you asked that question because the answer is yes, yes, and more yes. My new phrase that I recently came back from attending a podcast conference where the focus was a lot on monetization, and there were a lot of bigger brands in the space. So what was being talked about so much is that in order to really be represented by an advertising agency for podcasts or dynamic ad insertion through a big platform, is that you have to have 10,000 downloads per episode in order to be able to benefit from them placing a live host read into your show. Okay, so what happens to the other
That's not the typical podcast.
9,999 or less, right? And so again, we talked about this. I'm incredibly passionate about getting this information out there because it is about the quality of your audience, not the quantity of your audience. The quantity of your audience is an old model that's left over from broadcast radio, from television, where you reach the most for the minimum, right? So if you're looking at a cost per thousand and it's $23, $25 is the average industry standard right now, you got to have a lot of thousands to get to really make it worth it, not only to your bottom line, but also to compromise the integrity of your show for a live read that you may or may not even really be super excited about, right?
Right.
So this strategy that we're talking about and how to get there is designed for people that have very niche focused content, that have that are either utilizing it for their own products and services or bringing in sponsors that they have relationships with into their show. And the conversation is not about the downloads anymore. It's about, I have a highly engaged audience of 150 people, 350 people, 1,500 people, 3,000 people that listen to or watch my show regularly, and they need access to your products and services to make their life better, their business grow faster, their health increase, their family focus be better. So you have to connect the dots between what you can bring to them in terms of audience and what the audience can bring back to them. And that's the center of that, is where the value lies. And if you literally can have the conversation about, if you had the opportunity to stand in front of 150 people every week consistently for 13 weeks, 26 weeks, 52 weeks, what value would that be for you? Because it doesn't necessarily take a tremendous amount of conversions if you're consistently talking to a highly engaged audience that wants to know more about your product. So I think this whole myth buster that mission that I'm on is that it's not about the conversation about the downloads is important, but it's how you talk to people about your audience that's more important, because that's what podcasting does. It's outside of radio. It's the only medium where you're inviting a stranger into your kitchen, into your laundry room, into your car, it's like people are building relationships with the hosts of these shows that feel very personal to them. And so they want to support these businesses that are supporting their hosts.
Yes. Yeah. And these companies will pay to get their content in front of the right people. That, like you mentioned, having a niche show is great because you know that the right people are listening and you know who's listening.
Level up your podcast with advice from the pros at Produce Your Podcast. Subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay updated. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your network. For more expert tips and services, visit produceyourpodcast.com.